The Curse of Hollow House. The small town of Silver Ridge, nestled between towering hills and dense forests, seemed ordinary at first glance. But the locals whispered about the old, decrepit house on the outskirts. The Hollow House. For years, it had remained abandoned, its walls crumbling, windows shattered, and vines overtaking the once grand facade. No one dared to go near it, except for the foolhardy who, after stepping inside, were never quite the same. Every Halloween, tales of the Hollow House resurfaced, growing darker with each telling. The one element common in every account was a sinister jack-o'-lantern that sat on the porch. Some claimed it was the home of an ancient spirit. Ethan was a rational young man in his early 20s, with sharp features and a keen mind for science. He prided himself on his logical approach to life, dismissing anything that couldn't be proven or explained. Halloween to him was the epitome of irrationality, a celebration of myths, superstitions, and frivolous costumes that people used as an excuse to behave outrageously. His two closest friends, Jake and Sam, were the exact opposite. Jake was adventurous and outgoing, always seeking the next thrill. Sam was creative and loved the mystical allure of the unknown. Both reveled in the Halloween season, embracing the festivities with childlike enthusiasm. Every year they tried to involve Ethan in their Halloween plans, and every year he resisted. This year was different. Rumors had been swirling around town about an old abandoned mansion known as Hollow House. It was said that those who dared to enter never emerged the same. Each person's experience inside was unique, but all spoke of a sinister jack-o'-lantern that seemed to possess a life of its own. The legend told of a spirit named Stingy Jack, a trickster who, centuries ago, made a deal with a dark entity. When he tried to outsmart the spirit, he was cursed to wander the earth eternally, his soul trapped within a carved pumpkin. The jack-o'-lantern became a beacon, luring the skeptical and disrespectful to Hollow House, where Jack would exact his revenge.
Come on, Ethan. This is the ultimate Halloween adventure. Think of it as a chance to debunk the myths once and for all.
Yeah, what better way to prove that it's all nonsense than by facing it head-on?
Fine, but when nothing happens, you'll both owe me dinner.
As dusk settled, the trio approached Hollow House. The mansion stood at the end of a winding, overgrown path, its silhouette looming against the darkening sky. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. A chill ran down their spines, but none of them admitted it. Pushing open the creaking front door, they stepped inside. The grand foyer was adorned with tattered drapes and a grand staircase covered in dust. Shadows danced along the walls, cast by the fading light filtering through cracked windows.
Let's stick together,
Sam suggested, his voice barely above a whisper. But as they ventured deeper, a sudden gust slammed the door shut behind them. The lights flickered, and when they steadied, Ethan found himself alone.
Jake, Sam?
He called out, irritation creeping into his voice. This isn't funny. He wandered through dimly lit hallways, the floorboards groaning beneath his feet. As he entered what appeared to be a parlor, his eyes fell upon a jack-o'-lantern sitting atop a dusty piano. Its carved eyes seemed to follow him, the flickering candle inside casting eerie shadows. Ethan scoffed.
So this is the infamous jack-o'-lantern, just an old pumpkin?
He approached it, inspecting the crude carvings.
People scare themselves over the simplest things.
He tapped the jack-o'-lantern dismissively, but as his fingers touched the cold surface, a low whisper filled the room.
Disrespectful?
He spun around.
Who's there?
The room responded with silence. Shrugging it off, he turned back to the jack-o'-lantern, only to find its expression had changed. The grin now a sneer, the eyes narrower and filled with malice. His heart skipped a beat.
That's impossible,
he muttered.
Just a trick of the light.
The whisper came again, louder this time.
You do not believe, but you will.
Suddenly, the room darkened, and the walls began to close in. Ethan's surroundings blurred, and he found himself transported back to his childhood home. The familiar setting was distorted, the colors muted, the edges fading into darkness. A sense of dread washed over him. Growing up, Ethan had a deep-seated fear of helplessness, stemming from a childhood accident where he was trapped in a collapsed treehouse for hours before being rescued. The feeling of being confined, unable to control his situation, had haunted him ever since. Now the house morphed around him. Hallways stretched endlessly, doors led to brick walls, and windows revealed only darkness. Panic set in as he ran from room to room, his breaths quickening. Whispers echoed from unseen sources.
No escape, no control.
He tried to steady himself.
This isn't real, it's a hallucination.
But the more he denied it, the more intense the experience became. The floor beneath him gave way, and he plummeted into a void, only to land back in the same room, the nightmare beginning anew. Meanwhile, Jake and Sam were desperately searching for him. The mansion's layout seemed to change with every turn, corridors looping back on themselves. Shadows flickered at the edge of their vision, and faint whispers filled the air.
Where is he?
Jake asked, frustration and fear creeping into his voice.
I don't know.
Sam replied, his eyes darting around.
This place is messing with us.
They stumbled upon a grand hall where portraits lined the walls. The eyes of the figures seemed to watch them, and the whispers grew louder. A sense of foreboding pressed upon them, but they refused to leave without Ethan. Back in his personal torment, Ethan was trapped in a relentless cycle. Each escape led him back to the beginning, the hopelessness crushing his spirit. The jack-o'-lantern appeared in each scenario, its mocking face reminding him of his powerless state.
Do you believe now?
The whisper taunted. Gathering his remaining courage, Ethan shouted into the void.
Leave me alone, you're not real.
The response was a chilling laugh.
Your disbelief is your prison.
Jake and Sam searched for hours but found no trace of Ethan. The mansion toyed with them, leading them in circles until they finally stumbled upon the exit. Exhausted and defeated, they went to the authorities, but search parties yielded nothing. Ethan was never seen again. Unbeknownst to them, he remained trapped within Hollow House, caught in an endless loop of his deepest fear. The spirit of Stingy Jack had claimed another skeptic, binding Ethan's soul to the mansion. Locals whispered about the disappearance, the legend of Hollow House growing ever more sinister. Some said that on quiet nights, you could hear Ethan's cries carried on the wind, a warning to those who dared to disrespect the spirits of the old mansion. The tale of Hollow House serves as a chilling reminder of the consequences of arrogance and disbelief in the face of the unknown. The haunted Hollow House and its cursed jack-o'-lantern continue to stand as a testament to the power of ancient legends, waiting for the next unbeliever to challenge them.